My beloved child. Listen closely, because the moment you pressed play was not an accident, and the seconds you are spending here are already being counted somewhere beyond your sight. There is a quiet clock moving behind your life, not loud, not violent, but precise and unstoppable. It does not scream. It does not warn twice. It only moves forward. You have felt it recently, even if you did not have words for it. A strange pressure in your chest. A feeling that something important is approaching while something else is slipping away. Nights where your thoughts suddenly become heavy. Days where time feels faster than it used to be. This is not imagination. This is alignment. You are standing near a threshold that most people pass without noticing. A divine door exists, and it has been waiting for you far longer than you have been waiting for it. But here is the truth that very few are prepared to hear. The door does not wait forever. Opportunity in the spiritual realm does not behave like human promises. It does not chase. It does not beg. It reveals itself once, sometimes twice, and then it closes silently. You are not here to be entertained. You are here because something has already been set in motion, and whether it completes or collapses depends on what you recognize next. The reason your heart is beating a little faster right now is because your soul already knows this conversation matters. There was a moment in your past that looked ordinary, almost forgettable, but it quietly redirected your entire future. It might have been a decision you delayed. A person you trusted when you should have listened deeper. A chance you ignored because fear dressed itself as logic. That moment did not disappear. It stayed suspended, waiting for balance. The universe does not erase unfinished lessons. It repeats them with higher stakes. That is why patterns keep returning in your life, wearing different faces but carrying the same message. You call it bad luck. You call it coincidence. But it is neither. It is a reminder that something remains unresolved. And now the cost of delay has increased. Time is no longer neutral for you. It has become directional. Every day you move without awareness, you drift further from the door that was prepared specifically for your name. This door is not about wealth alone. It is not only about love or success. It is about alignment. About stepping into the version of you that was always meant to exist. Many reach the door and hesitate. Some knock too late. Some stand in front of it but never turn the handle because they are waiting for certainty, and certainty never comes before courage. The shock is not that the door exists. The shock is that you are closer than you think, and further than you realize, at the same time. Here is something that may disturb your comfort but will protect your future. Not everyone around you wants you to walk through that door. Some people benefit from you staying confused. Some benefit from you doubting yourself. Some benefit from you remaining available, predictable, and small. They may not speak against your growth openly. They may smile. They may encourage you gently while secretly fearing the moment you outgrow the role they assigned you. Energy recognizes shifts before words do. That is why relationships feel strained lately. That is why conversations feel shallow. That is why solitude has started calling you more than noise. This is not isolation. This is preparation. When a divine door is about to open, distractions intensify. Old habits resurface. Doubt becomes louder. Comfort becomes seductive. Your mind will try to negotiate with time. It will say tomorrow is safer. It will say you need more information. It will say you are not ready. But readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. The revelation you are avoiding is the very key you need. And the fear you feel is not a warning to stop. It is proof that you are standing at the edge of transformation. You must understand this clearly. Running out of time does not mean disaster is chasing you. It means delay is no longer harmless. There was a season where mistakes taught you gently. That season has ended. Now consequences teach quickly. This is why signs appear repeatedly. Numbers, names, phrases, dreams, sudden memories, and unexpected messages. You are not imagining patterns. Patterns are announcing themselves because silence did not work. When the divine wants your attention, it removes comfort first, not blessings. It unsettles your routine so you will question your direction. If you are waiting for a dramatic event to confirm this, you will miss it. The door does not open with thunder. It opens with awareness. A quiet knowing that this moment matters more than it appears. The once-in-a-lifetime truth is this. Many people are chosen, but few choose back. Grace presents itself, but free will decides the outcome. You are not being forced. You are being invited. And invitations expire. That is the part no one likes to say out loud. Right now, as these words reach you, something unseen is watching how you respond. Not judging. Observing. Will you dismiss this as just another video? Will you feel the pull and still do nothing? Or will you finally admit that your life has been nudging you toward a turning point you can no longer ignore? This is only the beginning. The door has not opened yet. But it has unlocked. And unlocked doors do not stay that way forever. What comes next will either activate what has been waiting for you, or quietly confirm that you chose familiarity over destiny. The next part will not repeat this warning. It will reveal what stands between you and that door, and why time is suddenly behaving differently around you. Stay present. This moment is already shaping the next one. My beloved child. Before anything moves forward, you must understand one uncomfortable truth. The door you are approaching is not blocked by fate, luck, or people. It is blocked by something far more dangerous because it feels familiar. It is blocked by the version of you that learned to survive instead of evolve. Survival teaches you to settle. Evolution demands that you let parts of yourself die. This is why your inner resistance feels personal. You are not fighting an external wall. You are standing face to face with your own past agreements. Promises you made to stay safe. Choices you justified as practical. Beliefs you adopted because they protected you from disappointment. But protection has a price. It slowly shrinks your future. The divine door does not open for the version of you that learned to cope. It opens for the version of you that is willing to confront truth without excuses. This is why time feels heavier now. Because delay is no longer neutral. Every moment you hesitate, the cost of entry increases, not as punishment, but as proof of readiness. Comfort cannot cross this threshold. Only clarity can. There is something hidden in your daily routine that you have been ignoring, and it is silently draining your momentum. It could be a habit that numbs your awareness. It could be a thought pattern that repeats without question. It could be a relationship that feels normal but leaves you empty. The danger is not that these things are evil. The danger is that they are familiar. Familiarity is the greatest disguise of limitation. When something repeats long enough, it stops feeling optional. It feels permanent. But nothing that weakens your inner voice is permanent unless you allow it to be. The shocking truth is this. The door you seek has already tested you multiple times without you realizing it. Small chances. Quiet invitations. Moments where you felt called to act but chose delay instead. Each test was not about success. It was about response. Did you move when clarity arrived, or did you wait for comfort to join it? The door watches patterns, not intentions. And patterns reveal whether you are ready to move without being pushed. You may wonder why things seem to be accelerating around you while you feel stuck. This is not coincidence. This is contrast. Life speeds up when it wants to expose hesitation. When movement surrounds you, stillness becomes visible. You start noticing what no longer fits. You start feeling out of sync with spaces you once belonged to. This discomfort is not rejection. It is redirection. But redirection only works when you release attachment to how things used to feel. The divine door does not lead backward. It does not recreate old versions of happiness. It introduces unfamiliar peace. And unfamiliar peace feels threatening to a mind trained in chaos. That is why your mind may resist the very clarity your soul craves. You are not broken. You are transitioning. And transitions always feel like loss before they feel like gain. The revelation few speak about is this. What you call uncertainty is often alignment forming before evidence appears. Pay attention to this moment. Not because it is dramatic, but because it is precise. The reason these words feel targeted is because they are intersecting with a decision you have been postponing. You already know what needs to change. You already know what must end, begin, or shift. You do not need more signs. You need honesty. The door does not respond to wishes. It responds to alignment. Alignment happens when your actions stop contradicting your awareness. This is where many turn back. Not because they lack ability, but because they fear responsibility. Once you step closer to the door, excuses stop working. You can no longer blame timing, people, or circumstances. Power returns to you, and power requires ownership. This is why the door feels heavy. It carries accountability. And accountability transforms everything it touches. What comes next will challenge the story you tell yourself about why things are the way they are. It will expose the one belief that has controlled more of your life than you realize. This belief has shaped your choices, your patience, and your tolerance for less. Until it is seen clearly, the door will remain just out of reach. Not locked. Not denied. Just waiting. Time will continue to press gently, then firmly. The next part will reveal why this belief formed, who benefits from it, and how releasing it changes your trajectory immediately. This is not about motivation. This is about recognition. And recognition, once it arrives, cannot be undone. My beloved child. There is a belief sitting quietly inside you, so old that you stopped questioning it, so familiar that it feels like truth. This belief whispers that you must wait until everything makes sense before you move. It tells you that clarity comes first and action comes later. It tells you that safety is wisdom. This belief did not come from insight. It was born from a moment when moving forward hurt, and staying still felt easier. From that day, your mind learned a shortcut. Avoid pain by delaying choice. Protect hope by lowering expectation. But here is the revelation that changes everything. This belief was never meant to guide you. It was meant to protect you temporarily. And what protects temporarily becomes a prison when it stays too long. The divine door does not open to those who wait for certainty. It opens to those who move with faith before proof appears. Time is tightening now because this belief has expired. What once kept you safe is now keeping you small. Look back carefully, not with regret, but with honesty. Every major shift in your life began when you acted without guarantees. The moments that shaped you most were never comfortable. They were decisive. You did not know how things would turn out, yet you moved anyway. That is your real nature. Courage before clarity. Somewhere along the way, you forgot that version of yourself. You replaced instinct with permission. You began waiting for validation that was never required. This is why opportunities feel like they arrive late. They do not arrive late. You arrive late to them. The door you sense now has appeared before in different forms. A conversation you delayed. A path you almost chose. A truth you felt but did not follow. Each time, time gave you another chance. This time, the chance feels heavier because repetition has reached its limit. The universe is efficient. It does not repeat lessons forever. Understand this clearly. The divine door does not measure how talented you are. It measures how honest you are with yourself. It asks one silent question. Are you willing to let go of who you have been to become who you sensed you could be? That question is why fear rises when you think about change. Fear is not the enemy here. Attachment is. Attachment to old identities. Attachment to roles you outgrew. Attachment to being understood by people who benefit from your hesitation. When you release attachment, fear loses its grip. This is why solitude has been increasing around you. Not to punish you, but to separate your voice from the noise. When the noise fades, truth becomes unavoidable. And unavoidable truth demands response. Time is not pressuring you randomly. It is aligning consequences with awareness. You now see what you once ignored. You now feel what you once avoided. This is why returning to old habits feels empty. This is why distractions no longer satisfy you for long. You are not losing interest in life. You are losing interest in delay. The door responds to momentum, not perfection. One honest step carries more weight than 1,000 planned ones. The shock is not that you are running out of time. The shock is that time is now responding to you. Every moment of awareness increases responsibility. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot unknow. This is the point where many turn away and call it coincidence. Others lean in and call it destiny. What comes next is critical. There is one action, simple but uncomfortable, that signals your readiness more than anything else. It is not dramatic. It is not public. It is internal, but it changes your external path immediately. This action has been waiting for your permission, not your confidence. In the next part, you will recognize it the moment it is spoken, because your body will respond before your mind does. This is where the door begins to open, not outward, but inward. Stay present. The moment you are approaching does not announce itself twice. My beloved child. The action you have been avoiding is not dramatic, but it is decisive. It is the moment you stop lying to yourself about what you already know. Not the loud lies spoken to others, but the quiet ones whispered internally to maintain comfort. The lie that says this situation is fine. The lie that says you still have time. The lie that says you will change when things calm down. These lies feel harmless, but they distort time itself. They stretch moments that should end and shrink opportunities that should be seized. The divine door does not respond to potential. It responds to truth. The instant you admit what is no longer aligned, the door reacts. Not emotionally. Mechanically. As if a lock recognizes the correct key. This is why awareness feels heavy right now. Because truth is pressing against the surface of your routine, asking to be acknowledged. You do not need a new plan. You need a clean admission. And that admission, once made, cannot be taken back. There is a reason this feels personal. The choice in front of you will change how others experience you. Some will feel inspired. Some will feel threatened. Some will feel confused because they relied on your predictability. This is why hesitation appears disguised as kindness. You tell yourself you are being patient. You tell yourself you are being considerate. But deep down, you know patience has become avoidance. Consideration has become self-neglect. The door does not punish hesitation, but it does not reward it either. It simply moves on. That is the part few understand. Divine opportunities are not emotional. They are precise. When alignment is present, they open. When it fades, they close quietly and appear elsewhere. You are not being rushed. You are being respected enough to be given a choice without pressure. And that choice is revealing who you are becoming. Notice how your body reacts when you imagine stepping fully into what you want. Not the fantasy version, but the responsibility-filled reality. There is tension, yes, but also relief. That relief is your signal. It is the release that comes when truth aligns with action. Fear tightens. Truth steadies. This is why distractions have lost their power. They no longer fully work because they are trying to soothe a misalignment, not a wound. The door you sense is not external first. It opens inside your perception. Suddenly, you see options you ignored. Conversations shift. Energy rearranges. Nothing magical appears, yet everything changes. This is alignment in motion. It feels subtle, but it is unstoppable once it begins. The shocking part is not that your life changes. It is that it was always waiting for your permission to do so. Time now behaves differently around you because you are approaching a point of no return. Not a dramatic ending, but a quiet crossing. Once you choose honesty over comfort, certain paths dissolve automatically. You cannot go back to pretending. You cannot unknow what you acknowledged. This is why the mind resists at the last moment. It senses finality. It senses that the old version of you will no longer be in control. But control was never safety. Control was familiarity. And familiarity has already given you everything it can. The divine door does not require you to be fearless. It requires you to be finished with self-betrayal. The moment you stop negotiating with what you already know, momentum begins. And momentum attracts support you could not access before. What remains now is the final resistance, the one that feels reasonable, even intelligent. The thought that says you should wait for the right sign, the right timing, the right confirmation. But understand this. The sign is your awareness. The timing is now. The confirmation is the unease you feel when you imagine staying the same. In the next part, the final truth will surface. The one about what happens if you do nothing. Not as a threat, but as a consequence of natural order. Once you see it clearly, indecision will no longer feel neutral. It will feel like a choice in itself. And that realization is where the door either opens fully or fades from view. My beloved child. If you choose to do nothing, life will not punish you, but it will proceed without you. This is the truth most people never hear clearly. Inaction is not neutral. It is a silent agreement to remain where you are while the world rearranges itself around you. Time does not pause out of compassion. It continues its work with precision. If you do not choose your direction, momentum will choose it for you. The door you sense will not slam shut. It will simply stop being visible. You will wake up one day feeling that something important passed, but you will not know exactly when. That confusion is the cost of delay. Not regret. Not pain. Something more dangerous. Numb acceptance. And numb acceptance slowly convinces you that this is all life was meant to be. Understand this carefully. What you call stability can become stagnation without warning. Routine can harden into limitation. Dreams do not disappear suddenly. They fade through postponement. One tomorrow becomes another, until tomorrow loses meaning. The shock is not that life becomes smaller. The shock is that it feels normal when it does. You adapt to less without realizing it. You lower expectations without announcing it. You explain away the quiet disappointment as maturity. But deep inside, a voice keeps asking the same question. What if you had acted when you felt called? That question does not leave.